Hey guys, welcome to the 12 p.m. East, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday Inside Real Estate Success Strategy session. We do these every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 12 p.m. East. You can see the replays at insiderealestate.com/webinars, which is the page I have up here. We also post it to the Facebook group, which is easy to find at insiderealestate.com/Facebook group. The Facebook group is always buzzing. There's too much to keep up with. I can't keep up. But if you want to just have a place to go to kind of get inspired and just see what other people are doing, or if you have questions, strategy stuff that you want to talk about, it's a great place to go. And definitely recommend that you get your team going in there. So today, what I was hoping to do was talk a little bit about call capture text codes. This came up last week in one of our sessions, and I figured it'd be nice to expand upon this. We haven't done a dedicated webinar on this topic in a pretty long time. So I'll start off by just asking who on the call is using call capture codes in KV Core. Just curious if anybody's using them a lot. I think this is one of those features that's actually has a high cool novelty awesome sauce level, but that maybe people don't utilize as much as they could. What I'm hoping to do today is we're going to walk through the functionality, and then we're going to brainstorm a little bit about how you would use these things, and at the end we'll do a Q&A. So let's jump on in here. And first, I'll show you where the feature is at. It's in KV Core. If you go to Lead Engine, right here. Jim's raising his hand. Jim, could you chat for me? I assume you guys can see my screen. Make sure you can see it. Yep. So you're going to go to Lead Engine right here. Then we are going to go right to where it says Call Capture, and my dashboard showing up right in the middle. We'll click Get Started. And that'll take us into the management screen for creating these text codes. Now, a few things to know about these. They run off your office smart number. So if you don't have your own dedicated smart number, all of the leads that are texted to, all of the interactions that are texted to the smart number that you've created, those leads will come to you. So over here on the right side, you can see where I've created custom text codes. Just know that anytime you create a code and it's interacted with, that lead goes to you. It's tied for you. There is sometimes some confusion around the office smart number, where if somebody calls that number, it's just going to route according to office routing rules, and it won't necessarily go to you. So you don't want to advertise directly the office smart number. If you want your own smart number, you can get one in the marketplace, and that'll be tied to you for calling. The text codes, however, not to confuse, but the text codes are always tied to you when you create them. Okay, now that that's out of the way, I'll just mention there's also a personal text code. You can use your name. Anytime somebody texts that text code, it'll assign to you. I never really use this. There are some places in the system, such as in Facebook ads, where we automatically place this code. I find it's better. I don't really want to give mine. I don't know. The name thing doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So I'd rather just have my own dedicated codes for marketing. And we're going to be talking about different marketing ideas today. So let's just walk through how to create one of these and describe what it does for anybody who's not kind of initiated and doesn't know. So let's do a text code. We'll call it webinar, okay? And we'll do, how about replays? I'll do replays. So say I want to send you, I want to run an ad and I want to offer you guys the replays to these sessions, right? So I could use my custom code replays. If I put an MLS ID in there, it'll actually reply back with the MLS info, but I'm going to skip that. I'm going to say, here's the link to the webinar replays, right? And then I'll just give that link inside realeestate.com/webinars. And we'll talk about some examples of what you could do. I'll show some of the other text codes I've used. But the example is that somebody texts this code, and then they're going to get some kind of reply. And then we'll say, just curious, are you a KV Core user? In general, I like to give the resource as a best practice and then give some kind of quick question after. Like give them the thing they opted for and then try to get them engaged in some kind of conversation. And asking a question, of course, is a great way to engage people in conversation. I can also add a hashtag, so we'll do webinars. So anybody who comes in will have this hashtag. And then there's two office smart numbers company on that. So I can just choose one of these right here. So if somebody texts webinars to this number, you guys can test it if you want, but you're just going to go into my system as the lead. I'll ignore you, but you know it will text you back this message right here. So if you text webinars to this smart number, that's the functionality. And probably the coolest thing about this from a lead generation marketing perspective is that you're going to receive the actual cell number of the person who texted. Because in order to text, they generally do that from a cell phone, right? You might be able to do it from a Google Voice number or something, but in most cases, you're going to get the actual cell number of the person who texted it. So for those of you guys who really like being on the phone, you like to be able to call and know the phone number of your leads, I would focus over here, probably more so than I would focus on landing pages and squeeze links where you're not always going to get that cell number. Maybe build some marketing funnels around this feature instead if you're really a phone-based person and you prefer to be able to always text and always get on the phone with your leads. So that's the functionality. There's not much to it, right? Just fill out that form, think about the thing that you want to offer, and then the kind of next phase in this is to just advertise that code and get people texting in to it. Now, there are so many ways to do this, and usually it's going to involve offline methods. Sometimes, of course, you can put these codes in digital places, but if you think about it, a lot of times people are going to be on their phone anyway. They're going to be they might be on a desktop, but it might be a little awkward to see a digital text code and text it. So over the years, I've kind of leaned toward using these text codes in offline methods. So we've talked about what the capture codes are, how to create them. Before we get into where to advertise them, let's just talk about what kind of offers you might make with them. So the first one, kind of obvious, is specific property info, specific listing info. I should use the word listing. Property can be more general, but if you have, say, a coming soon, or you have a sign rider, you have a current listing, and you want to trade a cell number for information about that property, maybe a video, maybe the price and more pictures, whatever that might be, this is the perfect place to use these text codes, and probably the most common place that text codes are used in the industry. We're all probably familiar with this application. And I'd argue that if you do have signs out around town at your listings and you're not using a text code, you're probably leaving money on the table just because it stands to reason. You know, the whole reason we do open houses is so that the neighbors will show up and we have conversations that could lead to us listing those other houses, you know, in addition to getting buyer leads, but we want to get those listings. Well, putting a text code on the sign rider is a great way to get the contact info of the neighbors because they're going to be curious about the property. You know, somebody walking their dog, you know, they're going to be, oh, I want to see pictures of my neighbor's house. So that's the most common probably use. Another way to use these, less common that I see people doing, but a wonderful way, I just showed you the webinar example, but you could do free reports and trainings. Maybe you record yourself a first-time homebuyer webinar and you have people text to get that webinar, or a first-time investors training, something like that. So lead magnets of that source, they would call them, PDF reports, video trainings, things like that. Anything that would be compelling enough for somebody to want to text in order to get it. And then finally, within the system, probably the third kind of offer that is most frequently used next to the listing info is squeeze links. So you might say, hey, text open houses for a list of open houses, text fixer-uppers for a list of fixer-uppers, a text for a list of all the recently listed properties in this market. So you can see I have some of these examples in my account here. You know, open houses will reply with a list of open houses. Here's one that did a specific property we had going right here. Property tour videos, that's for people who want to get any property tours that I do. Home value report, let's add that one. Home value report. That's a good seller lead. So find the value of your house, text home value report. That would be a major one you could use to generate listing leads, right? So what else? Transactions, to see all the latest transactions. And you know, the possibilities are unlimited. I have my main deals one, which offers a bunch of different links to different deals in the market. I have one page that I built, I've talked about this, that has links to motivateds, fixer-uppers, foreclosures, and so on right there. So you can really have fun with it. I didn't follow my own advice and say, here's the deals link. Just curious, are you an investor or just looking for a good deal on a property to live in, right? Something like that. I should have that in there as my follow-up question. So, Heather, I'll get to your question in just a second. All right, so that's that. Some uses. We'll talk about where we're going to use, and that's where this gets kind of fun and interesting. Heather's asking, is there a list of the top 10 reasons that agents should purchase their own smart number? The biggest reason, I think, is going to be a lot of teams use it because they want their own number within the office, so you know, it's a route between their team members. And then the other big reason is if you do want to use the number for phone calls. That's another big reason. We do have a webinar that I'll drop to everybody watching live where Annalisa and I recently, well, in the last year, recent enough, kind of ran through those reasons for the smart numbers. So let me just find that for you. And I probably covered some of this text code stuff in that webinar, but let's just copy the link here. And I'll drop this to everybody. But that should answer your question, Heather. We do run through some of the more compelling reasons for having your own smart number. But if you're careful and you use the text codes and you're only advertising text-based offers like this, and that's the main application, then you don't need to stress too much about the smart number. Now, sometimes people will call the number, and that would be a reason why you would do that. Cool. So now that we know that there's these 4 categories, keep these in mind. I'm sure I'm missing some, so guys, chat in if I'm kind of missing ways that you've used text codes. But squeeze links, free reports and trainings, home value report, I have my bullet off there, and specific listing info. Now, where are we going to use these things? I said before, offline to me seems like the most common, best place. And I'm going to rattle off some fun ways we could use these. There are some online ways. The first way, if we think about marketing real estate, not actually marketing real estate, but the actual real estate when you're marketing stuff on that collateral that you're using. If you're doing any kind of flyer for, say, an open house, or you're leaving flyers inside of a property, definitely there's big opportunity on the back of those flyers or within content to make these text code offers. So let me just do here an example flyer in my Google Docs, right? We'll just call this example flyer. Right, 123 Main Street, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 349K. And then I would have my pictures, right? You guys are all visualizing this. But then what I could do, and of course your flyers are gonna be way cooler than this. I'm just doing this as a rough draft. But let's just say that I go down to the bottom here, anywhere that anywhere I have a flyer or on the back, and I'll insert a text box. Where's my text box go? Oh, I'm in a doc. Oops. So I go all the way down to the bottom here, and I say text for a complete current list of fixer uppers, foreclosures, and other deals in St. Pete, Florida. Text deals to, and then number, right? I'm not going to go look for the number. I should memorize that number. We should all memorize that number, because after a while, you're going to be using it so often. If you follow this approach, you always find yourself looking for it. And then I would make this big and ugly, because good marketing is always ugly, depending on who you ask. That's my opinion. Not necessarily those of the company. But for a complete current list of fixer uppers, text deals to number. All right, maybe I'll make that purple, that part, so it really burns your eyes. All right. I would make this a little classier, but you kind of get the point. So somebody's they're touring a property, they came to your open house, they picked up the flyer, they're walking around. Most likely you're not going to buy the property, right? But they're going to have this thing in their hand. They get back in their car after the open house. Peppered across the back is one or multiple versions of an offer like this. You could also do a mortgage offer. Let's add that to the notes. Financing offers. The ideas are coming to me. So this could say to learn more about special first-time home buyer financing options in St. Pete, Florida, text. And then you could have one call to action that's for you to generate leads. You can have a second call to action that's for your lender. So, especially if you're working open house with your lender, you could each have a text code on there. So, no problem, Heather. So that's that. This is a really rough, rudimentary example of where you would take marketing collateral, a flyer, and put it either on the bottom in the footer, put it in the header, or just pepper a bunch of your different offers on the back side. It could be like special real estate offers, and then you have like 5 different text codes that offer the cool, compelling things that you have going on right there. And what are you doing completely for free in the course of the activity you're already doing? You're holding an open house completely for free. You're generating additional real cell number phone leads from those people who show up. So definitely utilize that idea right there. Back of flyers, back of your business card, or on your main business card. So we have that real estate on the back of our business card. I know a lot of us use it, some of us don't. That would be a great place to have one or multiple text calls to action, just like I showed you. And then I have beast mode. I cannot ever talk about this topic without mentioning my bobblehead dolls. My wife almost threw out, I have 10 of these things sitting in the back of my school bus here in my office, and she thought they were business cards. She was going to throw them all out. I was so sad. They're like sitting out in the rain. Head business cards. And my dog ate one. Here, I'm going to show you guys this because it's kind of fun. We got time. But let me show you what I'm talking about. And I'll bring up my video. Wait. I don't know if you can see it, but he bit the head off my new puppy. But basically, it's supposed to be your head. It's a bobblehead, and then you put your face inside of it, and then it holds the business card right here. I don't know if you guys can see my my screen very big, so apologies for that, but trying to show you here. All right, so bobblehead business cards. If you want to go beast mode, get these cheesy things. I used to have them sitting in pizza shops. I tell the story a lot, but I used to have them sitting in pizza shops in Philly, and they really worked well, surprisingly well. So you'd have your business card on one side, but you'd flip it over, and on the back side you'd have that call to action: get a list of foreclosures in city, and people would text the business card like that. So yeah, but you can get those if just Google bobblehead business card. It's Sanzo Specialties is the company. They're like you can order like they go down to like $10 a piece if you order a group of them, and it's kind of a cool thing for any of you lenders who are watching. I would much rather get one of these than donuts. So cool gift to give each other. It's a lot of fun. All right, not to get distracted. All right, so back to the business cards with our text codes. Postcards and letters. This is a topic I love. It's still tried and true way to get business these days is to send direct mail. We have thanks.io. I'm a co-founder of that disclosure in the marketplace. If you're sending just listeds, if you're sending any kind of, if you want to get new listings, doing something in the direct mail with a postcard, you're going to get much better reply from that effort if you give people a chance to interact and to get more details. So if you're doing a just listed, postcard, I'm just hoping I get lucky and get an example on the homepage here of something somebody recently sent. But if you're doing any of these cards, you can see some of the recent sends. You're going to do much better. So not to pick on Lee at all, and I think he sent some really awesome cards. I'm going to bring this up. It's on the homepage. But Lee might find that he does pretty well. He's just doing a just sold card here. But he might find that if he did, text transactions to phone number to get a weekly updated list of all the recent transactions in market, that would be an example of where you're enhancing the effectiveness of that direct response piece, and you're not just relying on them to call you. You're giving them some kind of bait or lead magnet to interact with. So definitely think about that if you're already doing just listed, just solds. You could do postcard or letter campaigns, specifically for that, an offer that you come up with the text codes as I mentioned above. So if you want to offer, one good idea would be, hey, that first-time buyer financing idea. You could send a postcard to all the renters in an apartment complex and say, hey, text first-time buyer financing to number in order to get watch a training about first-time buyer financing opportunities available in this area. That kind of offer, if it's targeted to the right audience, is going to work really well. And remember, in the backdrop, not only are you able to measure the effectiveness of that direct mail campaign, you're also going to generate real cell phone number leads every time it's interacted with. So definitely, if you're sending direct mail, use it there. I do have two digital options. This would be Facebook and Google display ads. So I have had success going into Facebook. I don't want this session to become about running a Facebook ad, but maybe I'll run one really, really quickly just to show you guys. And Robert, I'll answer your question. I'm a huge fan. Robert's asking if I use the foreclosure fixer a lot. I'm just a huge fan of that offer going back. It's just what works. And sometimes when you find something that works, you just do it over and over, going way back into the mid 2000s. If I want listings, if I want first-time home buyers without a lot of money, if I want people, big spenders, people with big incomes who want to buy multiple properties or want to buy $1 million houses, if I want more listings, I always go to the fixers and foreclosures. It's the universal offer that will attract everybody. And the mistake that I think a lot of people make with that offer is they assume that they're going to have to work with these low-end properties, and it's just not the case. It's a conversation starter. It's a way to engage people over real estate and nothing more. And you can do it in a very classy way. You don't have to bait and switch or anything. You just, you offer the list and then you start a conversation. Hey, are you looking to buy an investment property? Are you looking for something to move into? And you'll be surprised how many times that person on the other end is just like, oh, I thought the ad was cool. I was curious. But, as a matter of fact, we are thinking of moving in a few months. So, yeah, that's the answer to that question. So anyway, let's go into the Facebook ad here. Oh, that's cool, Jim. I didn't know Josh was doing that. I haven't talked to him in a while. Jim's mentioning it. Josh Shanley mentioned that he's using text offers with listing photos in Zillow. He must be overlaying them on there. We used to do that a lot on Craigslist, and I've mentioned it on these where you put the text code offer inside of a Craigslist image. We've talked about that on these sessions. So I assume what you mean is that Josh is doing something similar with Zillow photos. Really like that. I'm surprised Zillow is not hip to it yet. Great, Jim. Yeah. Sounds like Josh. All right, so let's go ahead and do next. Next, and this is similar to what Jim's talking about. So basically, you can make the creative of your image that goes with your ad. So if I'm going to add, let's do this. I talk a lot about using this new slideshow option. It's not so new. It's about a year old now. And a lot of the ads I've run recently use this option. So let's just pick one of these. I'll have to add an image. For those of you guys who haven't seen it, when you're creating a Facebook ad, they have this create video option. And it creates this little 6 to 10 second video. And they come out really, they get a lot of engagement. And it's just a really nice shortcut to creating creatives for your ads. So I'm just going to grab my house here, get rid of the logo. And then what I'm trying to get to is text deals to 727, 555, whatever. And we'll make it red, something like that. So you could, in the creative of your ad, is my point, you can put your text codes there. And then in this case, I would reiterate the offer inside of the body of the text of the ad, right? I would say for a complete current list of deals of foreclosure, fixer, motivated, seller, and other deals in Pinellas County, text deals to, right? And then the number. And then the actual creative with the image would have it there and have it there too. So that's what I mean by display ads there. And kind of mixed it. Display ad would be that it has a photo. I tried to get too fancy. Or video ad. We should just lump these two bullets together. Just use them in your Google and Facebook ads. One caveat I would say here is that I don't think, I'm pretty sure that Google display ads, you have to be careful. I don't think that I don't know if they're going to allow the text code. I haven't tested that in a while. Facebook seems to have no problem with it, but just test it with Google. They may deny your ad and they might not like that you're doing that. But Facebook has no problem with it. Okay, Craigslist post, again, that would be within the body of the Craigslist post. We automatically put a text code in those when you run a Craigslist ad for one of your listings. And also you can upload an image. If you look back in the webinar replays, I did a whole session on Craigslist probably about 2 months ago where I showed myself creating one of those images that Jim was just talking about that Josh uses on Zillow that has the text code. So let's add, we have Craigslist, Zillow properties, credit, Josh Shanley. I don't want to steal his idea, but there it is. Billboards right here. Now this I have never done because I've never gotten the whim to pony up because this is a little more expensive, but just think about it. You see billboard advertising, a lot of times just somebody's picture and the phone number, it's for brand recognition. Why not instead use a text code? Alongside that, you have sides of buses, if any of you guys are doing that in urban areas. Park benches, that's pretty big in the county on that. Lots of realtors advertising on park benches, but somebody's sitting on the park bench waiting for the bus, and they see mostly what I see is agents, they do their picture and then a phone number, and it's just like nothing. Well, why not just not have your picture there and just say, hey, text, first time buyer financing to, or open houses too, and the person's bored there sitting waiting for the bus, and generate those leads that way. And that's an example of where don't use your face. You can go either way on this, but sometimes if you're branding yourself, you could deter the person from interaction with the text code. So Little League fields, right? Restaurant mats. I love this one. Sitting there waiting for your coffee. You know, you have nothing to do, and you get the restaurants, the Greasy Spoon Diner has that mat thing there. Why not put some of these offers on there? If you have office, if your office is kind of the kind of office where people walk by, and there's one up in Safety Harbor, they're a user of ours. I'm forgetting. They do this really well, but they're a KV Core user. I'm just forgetting the name of the company. And they have 4 or 5 of these offers in their window. I walked by and I said, yep, that's beautiful. So, you know, if you have that real estate sitting right there, why not use your text codes in those windows? Newspaper open house ads. This is where you advertise the open house. And most people are putting a picture of the property, but they're not. They're just saying open from 1 to 3. Call us for more info. In most cases, why not have you know, text listing number for price and pics like that? And yeah, Jim's saying local newspaper ad having niche text codes for the area too. So you could have, yeah, for different areas. T-shirt. So you can make custom T-shirts. I might do this because I really don't like putting on a collar. I need to order some shirts for the local brokerage here. You know, it's the ultimate shortcut. So have your T-shirt if you're in a warm weather market like I am. You know, but why not just put on the back of your T-shirt some of those text codes that you might have, and have a different T-shirt for every day of the week, because your wife will be really impressed. Mine will. She'll love the new wardrobe. So T-shirts, and then, you know, if you don't do this, then you're just a slacker. But I think we should all just get tattoos with our text codes. I'm gonna get a text code tattoo and then a QR code too, and put it on the, you know, put it, I think on the back of your neck maybe, or on your forehead is the perfect place to do it. Oh, thanks, Andrew. Great idea. Bumper sticker is a great idea. Bumper sticker and car wraps, right? Kind of like a lot of people do car wraps. So you can put your codes there. Airplane banner. Yep. So I'm kidding around about the tattoo, having a little fun there, but you could. I'm actually considering a QR code, because a QR code, you can always have that direct to a domain that you own, and then just forward the domain, you know, elsewhere. So I'm thinking a QR code tattoo could be a little bit of fun. I don't know for sure about the text codes, but threw it in there for fun. So yeah, any other ideas? Well, here we go. I hit another window and something came on. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Oh, Jim has a great one. Bandit signs, of course. Bandit signs. Yeah, you don't really see that, right? Most bandit signs, they just say call. They kind of confuse me, bandit signs. I know they're really effective. In case somebody doesn't know, it's something real estate investors use. It's those signs that say like 2-1, you know, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 59K with a phone number. But I just don't understand. Like, is that to generate buyer leads? I should know this, Jim. But it's always like call the number. But why not put bandit signs out that say, if the goal is to generate a good buyer lead for those investors, yeah, why not put them out and have them say something more specific around a certain property type? So that's a great idea, bandit signs. And I'm sure there's 20 others that we forgot. Anywhere you'd advertise offline and some places online, you know, you could put it in a hello bar at the top of your site. I've done that in the past, but what I found is I didn't get too many opt-ins on it, and I just assumed because most of my site traffic is mobile, you know, so that it would be awkward for them to pull out their phone. But Ernest usually has a hello bar up here. I guess I must have engaged with it before and made it go away on his site. But you could put them up there. I'll show you guys. So, you know, you could basically anywhere on your website. Oh, email signatures. Forgot that. That's a big one. I would almost put that up toward the top. That's an easy one we can all do. Email signature. Lots of different people are looking at your emails, right? They get passed around sometimes. Lots of, you know, if you're emailing with your cousin who you're talking about fantasy football, smack talking or something, and you've got this email signature that just mentions, you know, a list of properties. That's somebody who you never talked to about real estate, but you're showing them that you're in real estate. You're giving them the chance to engage. So definitely, that's probably a really good quick one we can all do, is add a text code to our email signature. All right, guys. Let me know any other questions. Is there anything else related to KV Core, real estate marketing, that you'd like to cover now? Basically, these sessions are, you know, I usually come with a topic like today, and then we kind of open it up. Anything you want to talk about, I have, you know, have more time if you want, or we can just get going, and we'll be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. East. If you have any specific topics that you'd like to see covered on one of these sessions, also let us know about that. We have a big, we have a nice group of releases, I think, coming out tonight. I'm not going to say what they are, but we have some new features and things launching with KB Core. So keep an eye out. I'll probably talk about those on the session tomorrow. I do know we have a big release happening. We did recently release a feature that I think a lot of you guys wanted that I'll point out. That is that you can now, there's a setting in WebIDX or in your profile for automatically putting your signature on Smart Campaign emails. I'm just trying to remember where we put that. It might be in the profile here. But yeah, probably tomorrow, we'll probably go over some of the latest releases, get you guys caught up to speed, because there has been a lot that's been built recently with the system. And I'll probably mention this signature thing there as well, but it is somewhere. Here's where you can put your signature and create it, right? See, I have a link to see current deals links, but I don't have a text code there. And then I'll talk more about that signature feature tomorrow. I'm just forgetting where the heck we put the toggle. Must be in the WebIDX. Okay, guys, well, I'll let you go. We'll be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. East. Replay at insiderealestate.com/webinars. And thanks a lot for all the participation. I'll be sure to include this doc with all the ideas in the YouTube description and in the Facebook replay as well, so you guys have it. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye. No problem.